If you're retired or about to retire, you need to hear this right now. Banks across the country are rolling out new verification systems that can lock you out of your own money without warning. Thousands of seniors have already had their accounts frozen while trying to pay bills or withdraw cash. Today, you're going to learn exactly what triggers these freezes, how to protect yourself before it happens, and what to do if you wake up tomorrow and can't access your funds. Before we go any further, I need you to do something that could save you a lot of stress down the road. Hit that subscribe button right now and turn on notifications. We're here every week with updates on exactly these kinds of banking changes that affect retirees. This channel exists to keep you one step ahead of problems before they land on your doorstep. Let me start by telling you what's really happening here. Banks are under enormous pressure from federal regulators to crack down on fraud and money laundering. That sounds like a good thing, and in many ways it is. But the systems they're using to catch criminals are also catching innocent people like you. These automated systems look for patterns that seem unusual, and when you're retired, your banking patterns often change in ways that look suspicious to a computer. You might suddenly start moving larger amounts of money around as you consolidate accounts or take required distributions. You might travel more and use your card in different states or countries. You might help a grandchild with a down payment or pay for a medical procedure in cash. All of these normal retirement activities can trigger a freeze. Here's what most people don't understand about these freezes. The bank doesn't always call you first. In fact, many seniors find out their account is frozen when their debit card gets declined at the grocery store or when a check bounces. The bank's computer system flags your account and everything stops instantly. You can't withdraw money. You can't write checks. Your automatic payments don't go through. And here's the part that makes people furious. The bank employees you talk to often can't tell you exactly why it happened or how long it will take to fix. They're working with the same limited information you are, and they're waiting for a different department to review your case. Let me give you a real example so you can see how fast this happens. A woman in Florida, let's call her Margaret, had been banking with the same institution for 32 years. She decided to help her daughter buy a house and transferred $18,000 from her savings to her checking account so she could write a cashier's check. The next morning, her account was frozen. She couldn't buy groceries. She couldn't pay her electric bill. She spent 6 days calling the bank every single day before someone finally reviewed her account and unfroze it. No apology, no explanation, just a notice that her account was now accessible again. Margaret did nothing wrong, but the computer saw a large transfer between accounts and flagged it as possible fraud. Here's another case that shows you how random this can be. A retired teacher in Ohio used his debit card to buy a laptop for his grandson's college classes. The purchase was for about $900, which was more than he usually spent in one transaction. His card was immediately declined and his account was frozen. He had to go into a branch with his ID, his Social Security card, and a utility bill just to prove he was who he said he was. The whole process took 3 hours, and he missed his grandson's birthday dinner. Again, this man did nothing wrong. He just made a purchase that the computer thought was out of character. Now let me tell you something most people miss when they're dealing with these freezes. There's a difference between a fraud hold and a verification hold. A fraud hold happens when the bank thinks someone else is trying to use your account without permission. A verification hold happens when the bank thinks your account might be involved in illegal activity, even if you're the one making the transactions. Verification holds are much harder to get lifted quickly because they often require review by compliance officers or even federal regulators. The bank has to prove to the government that they did their due diligence before they can unfreeze your money. That can take days or even weeks. Are you starting to see why this matters so much, especially if you depend on your bank account for daily living expenses? You need to understand the specific triggers that are causing these freezes right now. Large cash deposits are a big one. If you sell a car or get a cash gift from a family member and deposit more than $10,000 in cash, your bank has to file a report with the government. That doesn't mean you did anything wrong, but it does mean your account gets extra scrutiny. Some banks will freeze the account until they can verify where the money came from. Rapid transfers between accounts are another trigger. If you move money from savings to checking to a different bank all within a few days, the computer sees that as layering, which is a technique criminals use to hide the source of illegal money. International transactions are huge red flags. If you use your card in another country, or receive a wire from overseas, expect your account to get a closer look. Here's where it gets tricky for retirees specifically. Many of you are taking required minimum distributions from retirement accounts for the first time. Those distributions often come as checks or electronic transfers that are larger than your normal deposits. The bank's computer doesn't know this is your own retirement money. It just sees a large deposit from a financial institution and flags it. The same thing happens if you're helping adult children financially. Sending money to someone else's account, especially someone with a different last name, looks like you might be a victim of a scam or involved in money movement schemes. The bank doesn't see a grandmother helping her granddaughter. The computer sees an elderly person sending money to a younger person, which is a common pattern in elder fraud cases. Let me break down the myth versus the truth here because there's a lot of confusion. Myth: if you've been with a bank for decades, you won't have problems. Truth: your history helps, but these new systems are automated and they don't care how long you've been a customer. Myth: if you call ahead and tell the bank you're making a large transaction, they won't freeze your account. Truth: sometimes this helps, but not always, because the freeze is often triggered automatically by the transaction itself, not by a person making a decision. Myth: only criminals need to worry about verification holds. Truth: innocent people get caught up in these systems every single day, and the burden is on you to prove you're legitimate. Now let's talk about the common mistakes that make this situation worse. The first mistake is not keeping detailed records of where your money comes from and where it goes. When your account gets frozen and the bank asks you to explain a transaction, you need to be able to show them documentation immediately. If you sold your car for cash and deposited it, you need the bill of sale. If a family member gave you money, you need a written explanation from them. The second mistake is using your debit card for every single purchase. Debit cards are directly connected to your bank account, so when they get frozen, you have no access to your money at all. Credit cards are a buffer. If your credit card gets declined, your bank account is still accessible. The third mistake is not having backup access to cash. Many people keep all their money in one checking account at one bank. If that account gets frozen, they're completely stuck. The fourth mistake is waiting too long to respond when the bank reaches out. If you get a letter or email asking you to verify information, do it immediately. The longer you wait, the longer your account stays frozen. The fifth mistake is getting angry at the bank employee you're talking to. I know it's frustrating, but that person didn't freeze your account and they can't unfreeze it on their own. They're trying to help you navigate a system that's just as confusing to them. Being polite and persistent will get you much better results than yelling. Let me tell you what to do right now, today, before this happens to you. First, make sure your contact information is up to date at your bank. If they can't reach you by phone or email, the freeze will last longer. Second, set up alerts on your account so you know immediately if there's unusual activity. Most banks let you get a text or email every time your card is used or a large transaction happens. Third, keep some cash at home in a safe place. Not thousands of dollars, but enough to cover a week of groceries and gas if your account gets frozen. Fourth, have accounts at 2 different banks if possible. That way, if one gets frozen, you still have access to money. Fifth, keep copies of important documents in a folder you can grab quickly. That includes recent bank statements, your ID, your social security card, proof of address, and records of any large transactions. Sixth, if you're planning a large transaction like buying a car or helping a family member, document everything. Write down the date, the amount, the reason, and keep receipts. Seventh, consider using a credit card for larger purchases instead of your debit card. That protects your bank account from being directly affected. Eighth, review your account activity every single week. Don't wait for your monthly statement. Log in online or use the app and look at every transaction. If something looks wrong, report it immediately. Ninth, if you're traveling, notify your bank ahead of time. Many banks let you do this through their app or website. It doesn't guarantee you won't have problems, but it helps. 10th, talk to your adult children or a trusted friend about your banking setup. If your account gets frozen and you can't resolve it, you might need someone to help you navigate the process. Now let me tell you what to do if you wake up tomorrow and find out your account is frozen. Stay calm. I know that's easier said than done, but panicking won't help. Your money is still there. It's just temporarily inaccessible. Call your bank immediately and ask to speak to someone in the fraud or compliance department. Don't settle for talking to the general customer service line. You need someone who can actually see why your account was flagged and what needs to happen to unfreeze it. Ask specific questions. When was the account frozen? What transaction triggered it? What documentation do they need from you? When can you expect a resolution? If this is happening to you right now and you're feeling overwhelmed, take a breath. You're not alone. This is happening to thousands of people just like you. Get everything in writing if possible. If they tell you to email documents, do that so you have proof you sent them. If you go into a branch, ask for a receipt or a case number. Keep notes of every phone call, including the date, time, name of the person you spoke to, and what they told you. If the bank says it will take more than 2 business days to resolve, ask to speak to a supervisor. Be polite but firm. Explain that you have bills to pay and you need access to your money. If you have automatic payments set up that are about to come due, contact those companies directly and let them know there might be a delay. It's better to explain the situation up front than to have a payment bounce and get hit with fees. If the freeze lasts longer than a week and you're not getting answers, you have options. You can file a complaint with the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. You can contact your state's banking regulator. You can reach out to your local news station if the bank is being unreasonable. Banks hate bad publicity, and sometimes that's what it takes to get someone to actually review your case. In extreme situations, you might need to consult with an attorney, especially if the freeze is causing you real financial harm like missed mortgage payments or medical bills. Here's the thing nobody wants to admit. These verification systems are not going away. They're only going to get more aggressive. Banks are terrified of getting fined by the government for missing fraud or money laundering, so they're setting their systems to be overly cautious. That means more innocent people will get caught in the crossfire. Your best defense is to understand how these systems work and to be proactive about protecting yourself. Don't wait until you're standing at the grocery store with a declined card and a cart full of food. Let me also warn you about something related that's becoming a huge problem. Scammers know that people are worried about their bank accounts being frozen. They're calling seniors and pretending to be from the bank's fraud department. They'll say your account has been flagged and you need to verify your information right away. They'll ask for your account number, your social security number, your PIN, or your online banking password. Do not give them anything. If someone calls and says they're from your bank, hang up and call the bank back using the number on the back of your card or on your statement. Never trust caller ID because scammers can fake that. Never click on links in emails or texts that claim to be from your bank. Always go directly to the bank's website by typing it into your browser yourself. If you've already given information to someone on the phone and you're worried it might have been a scam, call your bank immediately. Tell them what happened. Change your passwords and PINs. Monitor your account every single day for suspicious activity. Consider putting a fraud alert on your credit report. The faster you act, the less damage a scammer can do. Let me walk you through 3 different situations so you can see how this might apply to you specifically. If you're someone who rarely uses your bank account for anything other than paying bills and buying groceries, you're actually in a lower risk category. But you still need to be careful if you suddenly make a large purchase or deposit. The key for you is to notify your bank ahead of time if anything out of the ordinary is about to happen. If you're someone who's actively managing your retirement money, moving funds between accounts, taking distributions, and helping family members, you're in a higher risk category. You need to keep meticulous records and consider spreading your money across multiple institutions so one freeze doesn't leave you completely stranded. If you're someone who travels frequently or shops online often, you're also at higher risk because those activities trigger fraud alerts. Make sure your bank has your travel schedule and consider using credit cards for online purchases instead of your debit card. Let me recap what we've covered because this is a lot of information, and you need to remember the most important parts. Banks are using automated systems to catch fraud, and these systems are freezing innocent accounts without warning. The triggers include large deposits, rapid transfers, international transactions, and purchases that are bigger than your normal spending. You can protect yourself by keeping detailed records, having backup access to cash, using credit cards for large purchases, and notifying your bank before unusual activity. If your account gets frozen, stay calm. Contact the bank immediately, Ask for specific information and document everything. Don't give information to anyone who calls you claiming to be from the bank. Always call them back using a number you know is real. Here's what I need you to understand as we close this out. Your bank account is the lifeline that keeps your retirement running smoothly. One freeze at the wrong time can cause missed payments, bounced checks, and a whole lot of stress you don't need. The system is designed to protect you from criminals, but it's not perfect, and you can get caught in it. Take control by being prepared before anything happens. Set up those backup systems. Keep those records. Stay alert to what's happening in your accounts. You've worked too hard and too long to let a computer program lock you out of your own money. What's one thing you're going to do today to protect yourself from an unexpected account freeze?